you Computer Person. This is Computer Person as a pen, and this is Computer Person with a magnet on the back. And we make Computer Person with the ResinObsession kit. In the kit, you get 8-ounce resin. It comes with the resin and the hardener. You get reusable cups, nitro gloves, mixing sticks, some brushes, disposable brushes, and then some of the little bitty cups. You get mold release. You get the mold, which we will be using the hard cavity, the small teardrops, the larger teardrops, and the oblong. The body, the legs, the arms, and the head. Also in the kit, you get an instructional idea book. It tells you about mixing easy cast, and then also has some different ideas for you for using easy cast and the mold and everything. Okay. Some of the other items that you will be needing are a heat gun to pop the bubbles, and some pliers and wire cutters to break up the computer board or the different computer pieces that you use that you're going to embed. Okay. And then it's just handy, this is not required, but it's just handy to have some of the little smaller tools, jewelry tools. The smaller wire cutter jewelry tools, and then the little jewelry pliers. Some tweezers, a marker, some toothpicks, popsicle sticks for stirring, and some eye pens. You can find these in the jewelry department. They've got a little eye on them with an open end and then the long end there. Either a little hand drill for drilling to put the eye pins in, or you can use a little rotary tool. This is a battery operated one with the small mini drill bits in there. Also, I have here some of the bits for sanding, and these little bits here are some that I found that you can put your own sandpaper on them. They're soft and cushiony, and it's got a little pin in there. So you cut your sandpaper to the size. It's got a slit. You put it in there, wrap it in there, put the little pin in there, and so you can use 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 grit sandpaper in these, and that sure does come in handy. Some epoxy for gluing your hinges is really what they're going to end up being. I like to use the DEFCON 5-minute. You really do need some type of protection, especially for when you're filing, but it's also a good idea when you're mixing the resin. At least use this kind. The other kind, heavy duty, is really better. You'll need some wax paper to cover up your surface, and also for mixing the epoxy there. You'll need some acetone for cleaning your reusable cups or surface or anything like that. I keep most of my bottle stuff covered in these little shop paper towels, only because I get a little messy, and so then when I touch the bottles, and the bottles get all sticky and everything, so that's what that's for. And then you'll need some pigment, color of your choice. I just like the white. It just seemed to make Computer Person a little cleaner. I tried black for the first one, and it just didn't do anything for me, so I chose white, but you can choose whatever color that you like. You'll also need a timer and spray it with mold releasing conditioner. The polypropylene and polyethylene resin molds don't have to have mold release, But if you're going to use your molds repeatedly, it is a good idea because over time the resin will start to microscopically eat away at your molds. It'll just be harder and harder to pop them out. And so it's just a good idea as a way to take care of your molds. So we're going to go ahead and just spray it. It doesn't really take much, so the mold release does last a long time. And so we'll set the mold aside to let it dry. And while it's doing that, then you would go to your computer component or components to break them up so that they would be small enough to use in the mold cavities. Now, don't go and take good cards or good pieces and get in trouble, okay? And so you would just break it up however you find to be the easiest for you. You know, I just found big old wire cutters to be easiest and break up, and then I took some of my little jewelry pliers and found pieces to just twist off and things like that, and not these big old round things, but some of the smaller ones, and then I finally just got me a little batch here to pick from, okay? And so then you would want to decide the pieces that you're going to use in the different cavities, because you don't want to mix up your resin and have it sitting there while you're trying to decide, and then your resin ends up setting up in the cup, okay? So, and you also want to make sure that the piece that you pick is not going to be taller than the cavity, okay? So they've got to be smaller pieces. And so you would pick out your pieces for your eye and your nose and your mouth, pieces for the arms, the legs, and the body. And you can pick pieces and have them stand up, and pick other pieces that would make them go at an angle, or, you know, make them dimensional and things like that. So you'll kind of want to get that decided and then take them back out of the mold because you don't want it in there when you're pouring, but this way you know the pieces that you're going to use, okay? Before starting to mix the resin, you want to put your gloves on. You don't want to get what's called an allergy to resin. It's from working with resin repeatedly. You can get what's called an allergy, and your hands break out with like a heat rash, and it gets just very itchy, okay? So please always wear gloves. These are nitrile gloves. These are some new ones that I'm trying out. And also, you need to wear a mask, okay? It's just a very good idea. I do, but for the video, I'm not wearing one because then you wouldn't hear me talk, okay? And we want to hear me talk, right? Okay. We mix equal parts hardener to equal parts resin. Easy cast resin works best at 75-degree temperature. So if the bottles feel a little cold to you, you can put them in a little bowl of lukewarm water, lukewarm tap water, to warm them up just a little bit. Don't warm them up too much, because then the resin will start sitting up on you too fast, and then you'll have other problems. And looks like we had just enough. There we go. So we'll set our timer for 2 minutes. You want to stir thoroughly. If you get two things